All right, let's jump right in. It's kind of funny when you think about it. The road under your car is a total paradox, right? One second, it's this perfect, smooth guide taking you where you need to go. But the next, it can be a real wild card, a genuine threat. And get this, every little change in that surface completely flips the script on how much control you actually have. Yeah, this quote absolutely hits the nail on the head. So often, the line between a safe trip and a total disaster is just knowing what the ground you're driving on is actually doing. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to crack the code, unlock that hidden language of the road, so you can spot the trouble long before it becomes a real problem. So, what is the road trying to tell you? Well, here's the secret. The road is always talking. It's constantly sending out these little signals, these warnings about dangers that are way up ahead long before you can actually see them. The real trick? Well, it's just learning how to listen. I mean, seriously, think about it like this. Every past accident, every single near miss, it leaves behind a physical clue right there on the pavement. It's like a forensic trail. And that trail is basically screaming at you, warning you that danger happens in this exact spot over and over again. It's kind of like you get to be a detective on your everyday drive. Okay, so let's get our detective hats on. First step in our investigation, we're going to learn how to read the stories that are literally written in rubber and asphalt, the ones that tell you exactly where the trouble spots are. So clue number 1, grooving. Now, you might see these deep ruts and just blow it off as, regular old road damage, but it's way more than that. It is a very specific warning. What it really means is that other vehicles have hit this exact spot so hard that their entire suspension system has bottomed out and scraped the pavement. The road is literally telling you, hey, be careful, cars have a really tough time right here. All right, next up on our list, keep an eye out for curved skid marks. When you see those things fanning out from a corner, that's not just a sign of one person's bad day. Nope, it's a historical record. It's proof that drivers time and time again come into this turn way too hot, totally misjudge how sharp it is, and then have to fight to keep control. It's a huge warning sign about that corner's real personality. And the last big clue? Long, straight skid marks. So what's their story? Well, this is a massive red flag. It tells you that drivers are getting surprised right here, over and over, forcing them to just slam on the brakes. You can bet there's probably a hidden intersection or a surprise merge just up ahead. Again, the history is written right there for you to see. Okay, so we've cracked the code on all the visible clues. Now let's go a little deeper and talk about the invisible stuff, the physics of grip. This is where different road surfaces can completely change the rules of the game. And this quote, it is the perfect way to describe driving on loose gravel. You've got no solid ground under your tires at all. Every tiny little stone can shift and roll around. That's exactly why any sudden move, steering, braking, is so incredibly risky. Just one little jerk of the wheel and boom, you're sliding. Now let's talk about the ultimate hidden danger, ice. See, the huge difference between regular ice and black ice is all about what you can see. You can usually spot a patch of normal ice and have time to react. But black ice? Oh man, that's the real villain because it's totally invisible. It just looks like a patch of wet road, giving you absolutely zero warning until your car is already sliding. And what about this one? I'm sure you've felt it before. That relentless, bone-jarring washboarding on a dirt road. It's that awful, teeth-chattering vibration where it feels like the road is literally trying to shake your car to pieces. So what's the deal? What is the science behind that? How in the world do those perfectly annoying ripples even get there in the first place? Well, it's all because of this vicious little feedback loop. It kicks off when a car is going just a little too fast and its tires start to bounce. That first bounce digs out a tiny little ridge in the dirt. But then, that tiny ridge causes the next tire that hits it to bounce even higher, which, yeah, you guessed it, makes the ridge even bigger. It just keeps repeating itself, this cycle of bouncing and impact, carving those ripples right into the road. So, okay, if roads can be so tricky and hazardous all on their own, how do engineers even start to make them safe? It's a great question, and believe me, there's a lot more going on than just paving a flat strip of blacktop. I mean, the surface of a road is this really complex system that's doing a bunch of jobs at once. It's not just there for grip. It's also protecting the layers underneath. It's channeling water away so you don't hydroplane. It gives a nice surface for road markings. Heck, it even helps cut down on traffic noise. It's doing a ton of work behind the scenes. And all that work brings us to the materials themselves. You've basically got the big three: asphalt, concrete, and gravel. And choosing between them is always, always a trade-off. Asphalt gives you that smooth ride, but it can get soft in the heat. Concrete is super durable, but man, it's expensive. And gravel? It's cheap, which makes it great for roads that don't see a lot of traffic. All right, so we've nerded out on the science and the engineering. Now for the really important part. Let's turn all that information into action. We're going to talk about the actual strategies you can use to stay in control no matter what the road throws at you. Okay, if you remember one thing from this, let it be this. There is a golden rule for driving on any surface with low grip, and it is this. Do everything more slowly and more smoothly. That's it. Every single thing you do, steering, braking, even touching the gas, has to be super gentle. You're trying not to break that very fragile connection you have with the road. So let's put that golden rule into practice. On a gravel road, it means being gentle with everything. When it's raining, it means giving yourself way more room to stop and avoiding any sharp turns. And on snow or ice, well, you've got to slow way, way down and be incredibly smooth and deliberate with every single move you make. Okay, so let's bring this all home. What's the big takeaway here? What's the one lesson you should really walk away with? It's this. Your grip on the road is never, ever a guarantee. Yeah, that's the absolute key. Traction isn't some constant thing that's just always there for you. It's more like this dynamic puzzle that you have to solve constantly in real time. You've got to factor in the road surface, the weather, your car, everything. You just can't take your grip for granted. Ever. A really good way to think about this is what you could call the traction ladder. It's a simple way to picture how much grip you have. So down at the very bottom rung, you've got loose gravel, the least amount of grip. And way up at the top, that's your dry, textured concrete, which is usually going to be the grippiest surface you can find. But, and this is so, so important, that ladder is just a general guide. A patch of oil, some loose leaves, some debris, heck, even just a poorly maintained road. Any of those things can instantly kick even the best surface all the way down to that bottom rung. You've got to be constantly paying attention. And all of this kind of leaves us with a really cool question to think about for the future. I mean, can you imagine smart roads that actually talk to your car and warn it about an icy patch a mile away? Or what about pavement that can literally heal its own cracks? Is it possible that someday we could use technology to engineer these kinds of hazards right out of existence? It's definitely something to chew on next time you're out for a drive.
Please like, subscribe, and get notified.